Hi everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Enjoy.
1. The Forgotten Patient. A young woman named Sarah was admitted to a rundown hospital late one night after a car accident. She was badly injured but stable. The hospital was old, creaky, and practically abandoned, with only a few staff left to manage. The nurse on duty, a kind older woman, checked on her every hour, reassuring her that everything would be okay. As Sarah lay in bed, she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Her IV kept dripping unnaturally fast, and the light in her room flickered erratically. Late in the night, she saw a shadow move across the floor. It was a tall figure, too tall to be a nurse or doctor, and it didn't speak, just stood there, watching. The nurse came in the next morning, but Sarah wasn't in her bed. The nurse frantically searched the entire ward but couldn't find her. Puzzled, she checked the records. According to the log, Sarah had been discharged the previous night, at the same time she was admitted. When the staff investigated, they found out that Sarah had never existed. There was no record of her car accident. No one remembered admitting her, and no other patients were in her ward that night. But the strange thing, the nurse swore she saw Sarah's ghost, pacing the halls every night, looking for answers. 2. The elevator that never stops. Dr. Hayes had been a surgeon at the hospital for over a decade, and he was used to the strange things that came with the old building. Late-night shifts often brought eerie noises, flickering lights, and cold spots that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. But it wasn't until he experienced the elevator incident that he truly began to question his sanity. On a long shift, Dr. Hayes took the elevator to the lower floors to fetch some supplies. As the doors closed, he noticed the elevator moved unusually slow, its hum sounding almost too mechanical. When it stopped, he noticed it didn't open onto the floor he requested. It was a dark, abandoned basement level he had never seen before. Curious, he stepped out, but the air was thick with dust and the faint smell of decay. There were old surgical tools scattered across the floor, some stained red. A room at the far end was lit by a dim bulb, and he couldn't resist but to approach it. He found a strange, weathered door, half open. As he peered inside, he saw dozens of old hospital beds, each with a patient still lying in them. Yet no one was alive. The patients were pale, unblinking, their bodies stiff with rigor mortis, their eyes staring into nothing. Frightened, Dr. Hayes quickly turned to leave, but found the elevator doors shut tight, trapping him inside. He pressed every button, but the elevator didn't budge, and then he heard something. Whispers. A voice said softly, "You're not supposed to be here." 3. The Screaming Hallway. There is a long hallway in the hospital where patients are rarely sent. The room doors are always locked, and the lights flicker off for hours on end. The nurses and staff avoid the hallway, claiming it's under maintenance, but there's a reason for it. The hospital had once been a place where patients were treated for mental illnesses, back when patients were simply treated with harsh methods, electroshock therapy, lobotomies, and more. Some of the patients in the ward were never released and met their tragic end in those same rooms. One nurse, new to the hospital, found herself on a late shift and needing to check on that wing. As she walked down the hallway, she noticed a strange, low humming sound coming from behind the doors. Curiosity got the best of her, and she opened one of the rooms. Inside, there were no patients, only a mirror. But when she looked into it, she didn't see her reflection. Instead, she saw hundreds of desperate, pleading faces pressing against the glass, their hands reaching out in silent screams. Frozen in terror, she slammed the door shut and ran out. But the hallway stretched on, the sound of tortured screams following her every step. She fled the building, never to return, but staff claim they still hear the faint screaming from that hallway every night, long after the lights go out.
Which part of it scared you the most? Comment down below for part 2.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more.